No one talks about this part of motherhood. It's the part where you still love your child, but you don't necessarily like who they've become. Maybe it's their choices, maybe it's their behavior, or the way that they treat you has made it hard, maybe even impossible to enjoy being around them. And then the guilt creeps in, and you're thinking, am I a bad mom for feeling this way? And if this is you, I just want you to know that you're not alone. And today I want to talk about why this happens and why it's more common than you think, and how you can begin to navigate these feelings without shame or self-blame. So today I have 4 tips for you. Let's just dive right in. Number 1 is when love and like don't go hand in hand. Did you ever think that you would say, I don't like my adult child? Of course you love them. I am not questioning that, and nor should you. But we don't want to forget that we need to separate their behavior from who they are. We grow up thinking that this love and like always comes together, but as our children become adults, that often does change. And it ebbs and flows. Love is unconditional. It is rooted in your heart. It doesn't go away. But like is based on respect, shared values, or at least respect around them, emotional connections, and sometimes we don't like the person that our adult child has become. Maybe they've turned into someone who's super selfish, entitled, or even cruel. Maybe the closeness that you once shared feels like this distant memory. It hurts because as moms, we don't want to just love our kids. We want to enjoy them. And how do you enjoy a relationship when you don't feel comfortable being around someone? And when that is missing, that loss just cuts so deep. And it is real. And we do need to acknowledge it. Number 2 is the guilt. This is a guilt that nobody warned you about. This is where so many moms I see get stuck, and it's in this spiral of shame. And you might think to yourself, I shouldn't feel this way, or I must have failed somehow. Because we've been told that a good mother always delights in her children, right? Come on. This is not reality. Just as they don't always delight in us. But what happens when you dread their phone calls or you dread the text? It's usually because you've been on this spiral. And so when the conversations leave you feeling worse, not better, you might wonder, why can't I just be happy to see them? What is wrong? But here's the truth, because your feelings don't make you a bad mom. They make you human. And God gave you emotions for a reason. Denying them is not going to help the situation. It just buries the pain. We have to be able to acknowledge how we're feeling. I don't believe in making big decisions off of our feelings, because feelings are fleeting, as you know, and you can feel one way one day and the next day could be different. And so I just want you to know that you may feel like my son or daughter calls me this, that, or the other thing, and they're really not enjoying my company. They say I'm a horrible mom. They're not enjoying your company in the moment. Maybe it's okay to acknowledge that you're not enjoying theirs either. Somehow we seem to think that as mom, we have to always want to be a part of that, regardless of how we're being treated. And that's just not reality. For those of you moms, I just want to pause and invite you to something special. This will be one of the last times I share this, because we are approaching my retreat here in Ellenton, Florida in just a couple weeks. And if what I'm saying in this video or others is resonating with you and you're feeling emotionally exhausted or stuck, I want you to consider joining me at my weekend retreat. It is a safe space for moms who are walking this road, and you're going to get to connect with other women who truly get it. You won't have to explain or justify your feelings. We're going to have some open conversations, encouragement, time of rest and reflection as well. But you are going to leave feeling lighter, stronger, and supported no matter where you are in your journey with your child. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, you can check the link below in the show notes, and I would love to see you there. We are about 3 weeks out from this amazing event. Okay, number 3, why does this happen? And you know what? It's more common than you think. But you might think, why in the world am I feeling this way? Why does it feel like everyone else is fine, but I'm hurting? But here's what I want you to know. It's often because your child is no longer aligned with your values or your boundaries. If they have become disrespectful, emotionally unsafe even or distant, it's natural to feel a shift in connection. When you cannot agree to disagree on things, and trust me, I hear a lot of the same stories here over and over about reasons why these shifts are happening. But you know what? You are grieving the version of your child that you once knew. Maybe the kind, affectionate version that feels long gone. And others are also carrying the weight of unresolved conflict. You've had conflicts in the past, but they never got resolved. And sometimes it's just a reality also that your child is now an adult and who they are might not reflect the person you raised. But the core of who they are is still there. We also have to acknowledge that they are their own person and they're going to have their own opinions, and they have every right to. The disconnect is painful, but it's more common than you think. So I don't want you to feel alone in this because you're not the only one holding it all in. So lastly, number 4, I just want to talk about how to navigate these feelings. I want you to be able to navigate these feelings without shame. What do you do with all these emotions? Here's where I want you to start. I want you to acknowledge the truth. I want you to journal. I want you to write these things down. I want you to know that you're allowed to admit that things are not okay without blaming yourself. Yes, we have to take accountability for our part in things, but everything that has happened is not one person's fault. You have to protect your peace. You can still love them while creating this emotional distance that keeps you healthy. So again, this is for you, the mom, navigating this major disrespect and unhealthy situation, because you have to focus on your healing. If you are still in that cycle and spiral, you will not be able to focus on your healing because you are constantly walking on eggshells, and you can't do both at the same time. Redirect that energy you've been pouring into the relationship and pour that back into yourself. Find support, whether that's through my coaching group or, someone that else or someone that you love, but don't carry this burden alone. Most of all, give yourself some grace, because I'm sure you're doing the best you can with this heavy heart, and that's what matters. I just want you to know that if you have felt like you're a bad mom because you don't enjoy your child right now, I hope today gave you some permission to breathe again, because you're not broken. You're not unloving. You're a mom that's been hurt, who still has the capacity to love, even if it looks different right now. So I want you to leave a comment. I would love to hear your story. I want to hear how this has affected you. And don't forget to check out the retreat details if you're ready for connection and healing. I hope this helps, and I will talk to you in the next episode. God bless.